We're live. We
All
are
right.
live. Hold on, guys, where I share it in a couple of groups. We've got some hashtags up, but today we are doing an epic game marathon. Are we live
Yeah,
on
we're
the pod?
recording. Yeah, it's all good.
All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Aussies taking over the NBA.
Yes, we're live.
We are live.
On Facebook.
Live on Facebook, so remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Podcast
iTunes,
Addict, Mellow
yeah.
Man, all these bloody apps these days. It's all the same thing. Make sure you check us out. We've got a whole good library of stuff. What's happening this year, but we can probably start off with some what's going on around the traps in the NBA before we dive into the games. And Victor Oladipo out for the rest of the season with that quadriceps rupture. So his
tendon.
quad exploded.
Yeah, and you were just showing me before it was below the knee. I thought it was above the knee.
No, it is below the knee. That's where your quadriceps attach. That's why he was grabbing his knee on the floor, and that's what we all thought it was. But it turns out to be a quadriceps
Tendon. Is that a freakish injury?
It's
Below
not
the
a
knee?
usual. Like, I mean, your Achilles ruptures way more than your quads. But again, he must have been in a weird, awkward position and landed and just had a weakness there, and that was it. It was game over. So
yeah, I'm not big on rewatching videos of injuries.
no, it's like watching Gordon Hayward's ankle explode. And he's like,
I saw that live and just went, ugh, but I can't redo injuries.
No,
I've seen people go, oh no, I have to go and watch it. When people get injured, I have to go and watch it. I'm just like, I can't do that, man. It's bad karma for me.
it is bad karma. So unfortunately, the Pacers are 7-4 this year without him. Last year, they didn't actually win a game without Victor. What do you?
Really?
Yeah. What do you think that is? I mean, Miles Turner and a few of the other guys are picking it up the slack, but he is an integral part of their team.
So they were 7-4 this season.
They're 7-4 this season with no Victor, but he just seems to add something, even when he's not doing much in the way of actually shooting the ball. He just seems to be a bit of a court presence for them.
That extra dedicated scorer. I like that team in general. I think they've got a few different weapons. Obviously, with Oladipo out indefinitely, it gives them a chance to change the way they play indefinitely. Yeah. They were probably always thinking, well, we've got to reintegrate him back into the team. So now they have to physically sit down and work out how they're going to play without him because he's not going to be there all season. Turner, Bogdanovic, Thaddeus Young wasn't too bad when he was out. Sabonis he's still there. Yeah, Sabonis.
Yeah, Dominguez. He's in candidate for most improved player, I think.
Yeah,
he's having a good season.
It would be interesting to see without the dedicated ball handler. I think Holiday or
Darren Collison is their backup.
He's Holiday. They drafted one of the holidays. Yeah, about 3 or 4 different holidays.
There is
at the moment.
Every day a holiday.
Yeah, every day that'd be great if every day was a holiday. So who knows? It's pretty big for obviously the Bucks and Philly and Boston.
I think it's more. It's bigger for Boston. I think that with the way things are going, it's kind of hard to see them popping into the top 4 spot and not securing the 7-game home series to start off with. But potentially now,
if you look at the Bucks, there's 12 losses for the Bucks and then 18 for Boston. So between those 1 and 5, there's only six losses difference. If Indiana were to drop out because of Oladipo, I think it'd be interesting because you've obviously got 3 teams with Aussies in them that can kind of jostle their way up the ladder in the East a little bit. I think it'll be very interesting to see. Obviously, it sucks for him. He's an integral part. And even last year when they went out of that final series, he was all about, I want to get better, don't get too down on myself and get better. And for him to suffer an injury after that's pretty heartbreaking for him on a personal level. What other news in general?
We're coming up to the trade deadline. 7th of February is when everything kind of wraps up and we don't see anything more in the way of trades. Corey Brewer's just about to sign his second 10-day contract with the Sixers.
Another 10-day.
Yeah, he's given another 10-day. I think the third they have to convert it into an...
So
look, he deserves it. Yeah, there is. They've only got 14 spots on the roster. He would be the 15th. Look, I think he deserves a contract, to be honest with you. The way he flopped against Harden was hilarious.
Counter-flopping.
The counter-flopping was fantastic.
we're going to go through those games probably on Monday when we do another one on Monday.
Yeah,
on Australia
definitely.
Day, long weekend. Australia Day, mate.
Australia Day. It is Australia Day, our national day of everyone getting drunk.
That's tomorrow. So because it's on a weekend, Australia Day has to be a dedicated day where you don't go to work because it's Australia, mate. You know.
Australia.
So we'll go through those games. Then anything else? That's about it, really.
It's pretty much it. I mean, there's probably team by team some interesting stuff there, but we'll get smack bang into the Aussie games.
Yeah.
Just to let everyone know, it's hot as balls in Sydney today.
Yeah.
Even in our room, is the aircon even working?
No, it doesn't feel like it. It's pretty hot
Jesus
in here.
Christ,
But,
it's hot as
we're working
balls,
hard. We'll
but
brave
we're,
the conditions because we know our fans love us to brave
Love
the conditions.
us watching us sweat. So we're essentially doing a sauna podcast here.
Yeah, it's good.
We'll get cracking into it. And the first game of this is the Hawks and the 76ers. This was a big loss to the Hawks, who seem to have picked up a bit of steam of late. Kevin Huerter is picked up a career high in this game.
I like him, man.
He's good.
Best ginger in the NBA. Who's the other one? DiVincenzo is probably the other one.
Yeah.
It's weird to see Atlanta winning games. Obviously, they're in the running for probably to finish in those lottery spots and get one of those lottery picks. I don't think they're probably still 2 or 3 pieces away, really. And we were sort of going through the start of their season, what their roster was doing, and we knew with that Trae Young trade, they were still a few seasons away. So it's weird to see them winning games and not just going all out. But they have a pretty talented team and a little bit explosive when they get it going.
Yeah, they can do. And I think Trae Young pulled up a little bit towards the end for a good 3, and that kind of put things over. But Jimmy Butler tanking towards the end. He had a bit of a chump where he missed the final 2 free throws.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Look, it was one of those things they missed a tip in towards the end. They didn't get it. But it wasn't the greatest performance from Philadelphia. Their defense is somewhat lacking of late, especially to teams where they should be limiting them. Fuck, Vince Carter still looks good for 41, though.
Yeah.
Look at some of the other old guys like Zach Randolph and Dirk Nowitzki, and Vince is still... I reckon he could go another 4 seasons. In some
4 seasons?
Why not?
Holy moly.
45-year-old NBA, someone will pick him up for $2 million a season.
Speaking of old people like Dirk, we'll go through some of the Dallas stuff through this, but yeah, comparing Dirk to Vince Carter, like Dirk can barely run. We were watching. There was a clip of Ryan Broekhoff shooting free throws, and Dirk Nowitzki was shooting jumpers and like going around like someone was screening for him to shoot jumpers. And man, it looked like he could barely move. He was like trotting along. Like
there's a few funny videos of people taking the piss out of his run online. Yeah, that's always good. That's always good to watch.
But he can still shoot the ball anyway. It's crazy stuff. But yeah, so Simmons, he played 43 minutes. That's a lot of minutes in this game.
He did.
23 points, 10 of 13, 3 of 7 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 15 assists.
Yeah, man. He's starting to really ramp up, and his jump shots are starting to fall, which is a little bit daunting.
Scary.
It's a little bit of a scary thought. If he develops that kind of DeMar DeRozan mid-range game, and puts up 26 to 30 a night, I think teams are going to struggle because Philadelphia is one of those weird teams that can kind of switch around everywhere and, find defensive mismatches and then offensive mismatches early in the piece when everyone's just looking to Joel Embiid to try and double team. And yet you've got this 6'10" point forward who can run faster than most point guards. But it was disappointing that they lost that game. And we can move on to the next one, which is move on. Fuck it. YOLO.
That's good. Bucks Washington. Yeah, the Bucks lost.
But there's no Giannis.
No Giannis in this game.
And it just shows you no Giannis means no party. I think for the Bucks, I think that they've built their team around such this freakish ball handler diving through the paint and kicking out to just an array of shooters that they've lost their way on how to win kind of clutch games down the straight when they don't have that option.
Do you reckon they're losing their way a little bit?
Only when Giannis is not on the floor.
Well, they still have quite a balanced team. Like if you take Lopez, who is shooting threes from everywhere, and you look at Bledsoe, who runs a traditional point. But then again, if you look at Lopez, and then go through the bigs, they've been playing Sterling Brown a lot, and DJ Wilson. They're kind of hustle guys. They're not traditional pick and roll guys who can change an entire offense once Giannis comes out from really dedicated ball handling. So, I watched the highlights of this one, and Thon Maker, obviously, he played for 5 minutes, 2 points. He had an oop that he finished. But defensively, he got caught in no man's land a couple of times, and then basically got yanked. Or looked like he got yanked. You kind of never saw him again.
Yeah.
Sadaransky at 18 points. He heated up, 12 rebounds, 10 assists. Bradley Beal, obviously, having a career year as well, 32 points. Ariza had 20 points. The Wizards, after such a terrible start, they're starting to pick it up a little bit.
I think the John Wall factor is that he's just one of those guys that can't really have other pieces on his team. He just have to kind of be on himself. He's one of the good point guard to have on a tanking team where he can go out and score 45 a night, but the team loses because it's the John Wall show.
Yeah, there's a few players kind of like that. Kemba Walker for Charlotte. There's a couple of those
He just got
guys.
selected today as the second...
Kemba.
Yeah, second guard in the East. Look, I'm obviously a Ben Simmons fan. Kemba Walker can put up 60 points a night, or he could put up 8 points a night. He's not going to win you games. That's the thing. It's not the Kemba Walker show. It is the Ben Simmons show in Philadelphia. Ben Simmons can win you games.
You're slightly biased, though.
I am slightly biased, but...
I'm pretty biased, too.
For what, Philly are 31-17 and...
32-17.
32-17 and the Hornets are below 500. So
Has he made an All-Star? I think this is his first All-Star.
This is his first All-Star. Look, he's a great point guard.
Yeah.
But again,
part
that's what happens.
Part of me is like, man, have an All-Star. You're playing pretty well. He hasn't been an All-Star. And Ben Simmons has still got plenty of years ahead of him to make the All-Star teams. I think he's going to make the All-Star as long as he's healthy for the next, I think, 5 or 6 years while his game continues to develop. Shall we move on? Middleton had 25 points. He looked decent. Bledsoe had 18 points, 9 assists. It was a weird sort of game.
Yeah.
I don't think they shot the 3-ball well. I haven't got the stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure they didn't shoot the 3-ball. And usually when they don't shoot the 3-ball well, that's,
Again, it's one of those things they didn't have the dude collapsing in on the lane and just open looks everywhere. Oh, we'll move on to the Cavs Rockets. Delhi had 6 points in this game, one rebound, 3 assists. His hot start has slowed somewhat.
Yeah.
But we can
Cavs,
also...
they've had some trades and they've done some other things.
I don't know what they're doing in the Cavs. They're obviously tanking for what? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if they're supposed to be tanking or they're just trying to look like they're not tanking, but at the same time, that's what they're doing internally as a franchise. The other thing that's what I want to talk about was Melo traded to
the
Chicago.
Bucks. The Bulls for cash and essentially they'll waive him to get some of their tax concessions down.
And it allowed them to sign Kenneth Faried as well because Capella's out. And
better fit for their team with Capella obviously being out and Nene being ancient.
And I wonder, it's weird. The Melo story is bizarre, really, because once at the start of the season when we were looking at it, you're like, yeah, he could plug into this team. That's something that he could do. Spread the floor and shoot mid-range and shoot threes or shoot whenever he gets the ball. That's going to be great. But very quickly, he just disappeared. And it was 6 or 7 games or 8 games in where it's like, just
but there was a bit of conspiracy about that as well. And
well, you look at the last, 10, 15 games with Houston's big resurgence back into the top sort of 5 or 6 or wherever they are at the moment. It's basically all Harden unassisted buckets.
Yeah.
It's 213
points on no assists.
So it's what does it matter anyway? Melo is going to be there. What's it really going to matter if he's going to shoot in a lot of isolation situations? With Chris Paul out, it doesn't matter. It's just Harden takes the ball. We're just going to do everything. And as a franchise, fair enough. He's a phenomenal player and he's putting up phenomenal numbers. So you just keep letting him do what
but then we can move on to the Philly game and he just gets absolutely destroyed.
Yeah. We'll
keep that for one for later. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll keep that in the back of our minds.
But the Rockets absolutely destroyed the Cavs, and so they should. The Cavs were trash bag. Okay, next one was the Mavs and Timberwolves, and the Mavs got an away win.
Yeah, which is a rare thing.
Rare thing. No Broekhoff. Didn't play personal reasons. It's just a bit of a shame.
Timberwolves have that retro court. Did you see that?
It was ugly as fuck.
Yeah, I know. Miami did it way better than
Miami Vice. You can't really go past Miami Vice.
Yeah, the retro Timberwolves just kind of pink and it just didn't look that good.
No.
But not as bad as the Bucks. The Bucks retro looks
terrible. Just stick to the new one. It's horrible.
And Charlotte Hornets court in retro is pretty awful as well.
Yeah, that was weird to look at, like when you're watching the game. It didn't make any sense.
Bizarre flaw. Messes with the moire pattern in the TV too, if you've got an older TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Doncic beasting. He was pretty much what won them that game. He's been fantastic. Just great to watch.
Yeah.
I wrote here, have you noticed he drives a lot in 3-5 pick and roll with Jordan wide open at the hoop, but he'll toss it out. Like, I don't know if there's something going on there, but a lot of these plays, you watch them, and Jordan's wide open there. All he does need to do is toss it over the top, but he'll toss it out to shooters. And I wonder if it's a Doncic thing or if it's just his mentality, or whether they're trying to actively toss the ball out more and use DeAndre Jordan less at the hoop. But
I mean, you guarantee 2 in the middle as opposed to 40% at the 3
sometimes
point.
he's like wide open. It's like a Gobert situation where you just toss it up and he plucks it out of the air and dunks it. So I'm not sure what to make of that. I'll have to keep watching that just to make sure that there's not something going on there. Because if I was DeAndre Jordan and that was happening a lot for me, I'd be like, hey, give me the ball. Like, make sure you give me the ball. But, we said in that Dallas review, like season review so far for Dallas broke off, that he looked like he just didn't care and he wasn't playing with any intensity. So I wonder if that's sort of part of it as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to you can go back and watch our Dallas review. It just dropped today, so
Definitely.
Go back and find that if you want to know about that. Let's move on to Lakers at the Utah Jazz.
Severely depleted Lakers. But the Jazz, I think they're starting
Lonzo was still there for this one, but obviously
severely depleted.
Yeah.
No Rondo.
No LeBron.
No LeBron. I'm going to say it's just the Lakers of last year, which pretty much same of nothing.
Yeah, it's a lottery team, really.
Yeah, it's a lottery team. You can get a nice game, but you also can get pretty trash. Joe Ingles had a great game.
Yeah.
31 minutes, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. The Jazz played without Rubio and Exum and Neto, and Donovan Mitchell
Just went off. Like,
but he did this last year. It was like the first half, he was just like building into what is the craziness of him just going to the hoop over everyone and scoring, and then shooting the 3-ball well. He was only at 29.8% before Christmas.
And it just opens up the floor. Not playing him at shooting guard or the 2 really opens up the floor for them. If he's just playing point, it kind of gets Rubio out of the way as an option who, shoots 36% and wants to score mid-range or get to the hoop. Like, it opens up the floor completely for Utah, which is obviously they're on an 8-2 run at the moment. Spoiler alert, we'll go through some of their games that they've won on this run. And it's making Ingles play better too, because Ingles now is being respected for that
ball handling.
When he runs that 4-5 with Gobert, and at the foul line, usually he'll give a bounce pass to Gobert. He's using that as a misdirection, and he's getting a lot of lefty leaning.
That leaning layups. Really, because he's very long. He's deceptively long
and deceptively sort of herky jerky and slow mo. Well, it's
slow-mo Joe, yeah.
Well, yeah, like you think he's going to just toss it off and everyone sort of moves that way, and he has that nice lefty scoop. He's been using that a lot. Whereas we thought, and he's getting a lot of credit and a lot of acclaim for his game at the moment.
He is. We were like 2 points a game,
he's struggling a little bit.
But no, he's just it's the resurgence is all to do with Joe Ingles. And I was like...
it feels like, man, I hate to say it, but it feels like kind of getting Rubio and Exum out of the way and letting Mitchell run
the point, yeah.
Like from the 1 spot, him playing hero ball is okay because there's 4 other guys, but him from the 2 spot, there's suddenly like Rubio's taken out of the equation, then Joe Ingles is supplementing.
So you could almost play Exum at the 2 spot because he's a slasher, so you can kind of give it to him.
Well, they were doing that last year,
yeah, and it might work.
Out when they kind of got beaten, but. Yeah. Still, no, it was good to see the Utah Jazz. Obviously, I made a huge prediction, so hopefully they get
it's
as many
starting
wins.
to creep up to your prediction. If they won every game from here, you'd be sweet.
Yeah, because the one thing I didn't take into account was their schedule at the start of the season. It's just crazy. Terrible.
And
I think they've got like the easiest schedule now coming down the last 40 games. They don't have to do as many away trips and play the top 4. They're playing mostly tanking teams now from here on out, so... And apparently that happened to them last season. That was one of the reasons why they had that big 30-0 run. And that was, so that was pretty much
game, set, match. We can go on to Boston and Orlando. I actually watched this game. And this was an epic chunk by Boston. They went to Tatum on the last play and Kyrie blew up.
Yeah, blew up at that. And then there was a whole big press storm about that.
Yeah.
I didn't read into it.
Look, it was one of those things is when the game's on the live, you go to Uncle Drew.
Yeah.
That's what you pay him the money to do. Hayward is not working. Tatum is only a second-year guy. You don't go to Tatum. And he's...
So what was the play? The play was an inbound, and he was meant to run down to the 3-point line, and Hayward sort of passed it over to
Tatum,
and
Tatum
like
took
a turn
like
and jumper in the corner. Yeah. And then all I remember seeing is Kyrie just being like...
Yeah. Look, I have to say, though, Aaron Gordon played extremely well. Evan Fournier, the Magic got back into that game out of nowhere, and they looked pretty good. And the Magic are a weird team. Like Aaron Gordon's like a big chub talent. It's quick. Vucevic is having his career year. They just like... Terrence Ross is crazy from the 3-point. Like, that dude is... If anyone wants to pick up a player, Terrence Ross is the guy to pick up. They just seem to struggle at the one spot. I don't think they've got a good enough point man. They don't really have enough bench depth. They're kind of this weird eclectic team. But I think if they pick up a couple of good pieces in the next year or so, they could be
Orlando.
a viable team.
So they're like Boston at the moment. They're on a 5-win streak. They're 7-3 in their last 10. So we've got a few of them to go through. So this loss must have been before that win streak. Obviously, no Baines in this one. He was still out with that hand stuff. But yeah, dismal loss for them. But they've bounced back. So we'll go on to Spurs and OKC, that rematch.
Yep.
After that wonder game that we finished on. The absolute beast of a game.
That was an absolute beast of a game.
Double overtime?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was LaMarcus feast session.
50-point feast,
but this game, OKC get the win. OKC good, man. They look good. They've just got, I think, a really solid structure. They've got some good backup rotational players in Dennis Schroeder.
Steven Adams, man, is having a fantastic year as well.
He's such a beast, though.
Yeah,
he's such a gentleman
underrated,
beast. Yeah. He's not aggro at all. He's purist. He's having a great year and gets the hoop so easily. Got a good array of moves for big man. He's probably the only big man left that doesn't need an elbow game to be completely functional.
Gobert started to play a little bit better too. Well. But I think he's probably got more to his game than Gobert.
Definitely.
I think he is, one of the traditional centers with enough to get away with his game in the modern NBA without that elbow jumper or that 12, 15-foot jumper. But this game had a lot of floaters from a lot of different people. I watched the highlights of this one. It was just floater. Like, it was good tactical basketball. That's the way Spurs play, though. They Greg Popovich obviously runs a tight ship with his offense. Patty Mills, he played 16 minutes, 4 points, 2 of 7. 2 rebounds, 4 assists, but he had some foul trouble. And then playing on Westbrook, obviously, that's a deadly matchup for him in terms of athleticism.
I think Westbrook's,
and then
good
Terrence
enough.
Ferguson, and Jeremy Grant, who have also been playing really well, and Schroeder as well. Like, that's just a trio of really bad matchups for him.
And they've got a good backup center in Noel. Crazy enough, Terrence Ferguson was actually the first of the Rising Stars program in our local league.
Too. He was terrible, apparently. Yeah.
And he got picked up, and now he's smashing it. So that was
good on him, man. Because it's good. Like, he's shooting the ball really well, and he really fits into that offense. He's kind of like a bit of a Westbrook light. Really athletic, can shoot the ball. Obviously,
Westbrook can't shoot at the moment.
Yeah,
how good is that? They've stopped his walk out to the halfway line. And he's chunking the free throws left, right, and center.
He's destroyed his free throw percentage. The poor bastard. Yeah, Bellinelli had 24 points. DeRozan had 18. This was a really chippy game. I remember this game. I watched the second half and the third quarter. There was a bunch of fouls on DeRozan not called, and he blew up, and he got a tech for blowing up. But OKC is such a aggressive side, like really aggressive, really like to get their hands in the passing lane and body up on people. So it sort of comes down to if the refs are letting them be really aggressive and that's feeding into the way they play, then that's where they get a roll on. Westbrook starts to play better. Jeremy Grant coming off the bench with a hustle. Steven Adams even. He remember when he looked like he had that ankle injury in the other game?
Yeah,
and suddenly he's just back. And
and dunking.
This guy's an animal. Beast. But yeah, it's a shame for the Spurs. But we should move on to Utah at the Bulls.
This was an easy win.
Yeah.
Again, Jingles had quite a good game, 16 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. Exum was still injured. Mitchell scored 34. His third straight game above 30. I think he's got the Jazz record now since Moses Malone.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Bulls are just trash.
The Bulls are just, what are you even doing?
Yeah, there's no defense. Although I have to say, in a dull situation, Laurie Markkinen and Zach LaVine have been playing pretty well.
Yeah. Well, they're both
Laurie plays bit more defense than Zach. Zach's just a pure scorer.
And they kind of missed Larry Markkinen at the start of the season where he, like, as a piece, he's probably more or close enough to being a cornerstone part of their franchise. He's probably the closest guy. Like, they went all in on Jabari Parker, and that's kind of just been like, oops.
Yeah, but I think that was a coaching decision more than an actual...
Oh, hey, man, giving him $20 million after he's, after the Bucks stuff, if you had that spot, you would probably go, yeah, why not? Let's have a crack at this because he might come back. Obviously, a team that was sort of competing higher up probably wouldn't reshape their franchise to try and get this guy in. But a team like the Bulls had nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I think it was 1 or 2 seasons. Was it two years?
2 year 40 mil. I think the first year was guaranteed. The second not.
So why not have a roll of the dice? They're still 2 or 3 years away from even having like a proper team that will challenge
anyone.
Yes. So another game without Rubio, Dante Exum, and Neto, and another win for the Jazz. They started to climb above 500. I think in this game they started to make that march above 500, which is good for them. Move on, I guess, to Philly and the Knicks.
Knicks played well this game, actually. Simmons, 22 rebounds.
22 rebounds? That's insane.
I believe there was there was Joel Embiid, but yeah, Simmons went off. The Knicks played well this game. They had a bit of fight on them. Bolden had no points and 9 rebounds.
Yeah.
Embiid, 26. Redick, 22. Jimmy Butler, 16. Yeah, it was one of those games that I think the Knicks just kept coming and Philly were able to hold them off. But I think that was more so the back of some good defense. And Knox looking pretty good, 31 points for the Knicks. And they'd lost 4 straight of this game.
The Knicks, that is. Yeah. I don't think their mindset will ever be to tank. You know what I mean? Like, they've got Fizdale as a coach now. Like, he's someone that's trying to build something. The team's not too bad.
The Knicks.
That's not the worst team. Like, you're not looking at.
Do you know what's quoted this week? Someone asked him, what's the franchise going to do about all this Enes Kanter situation?
Oh, yeah,
and he's just like, I don't know. Maybe you can lose some more games. Like, what are we going to do? Lose some more games? It's just like, who cares? I mean, Enes Kanter's probably going to get arrested and deported to Turkey, where he'll be turned into horse food. But
jeez,
yeah. Well, that's
a bit rough.
It's the rough. He can't leave America now. He's going to have to claim asylum. Literally, he will. He won't be able to leave America ever again.
Oh, man,
fucking scary.
Rough. That's pretty scary, especially from us being in Australia, which is quite a free country, quite multicultural as well.
It is.
But the Knicks, man, when they hustle, they're not the worst team. Like, you don't watch them and just go, oh, even when they hustle, they're terrible. Like,
no.
Fizdale I like as a coach. So I think in the next 3 or 4 years, if they can
might actually do something.
Restructure if they can restructure their franchise properly, which I think under Fizdale they have an opportunity to do. It's just whether or not they do, which I don't know. They're known as the franchise that, the ball's there, it's ready to hit. Oh, we whiffed again, So yeah, good to see Philly get that win. What's their win-loss in the last 10? They're 7-3 on a 2-game streak. They lost another one in the middle of here. So we'll move on, I guess, to the Bucks. Atlanta. No Thon in this game, though.
Yeah, but that's coach's decision. Yanten Tekupo had only 1 rebound in the first half. But again, I think that, scored 33 points by the end of it, so who really cared?
Yeah.
Bledsoe had 24 points and 10 assists, and it was just an easy return. I don't think that Atlanta really has anything to do with Giannis.
Yeah.
And especially on a matchup on a point guard like Trae Young, where if you've got no defense inside, who's going to stop him on defensive end?
It was kind of men versus boys, really.
It was.
Watching the highlights.
And Brook Lopez just pulling up from random places on the court. Fuck, he's hilarious.
It's insane.
It's like, I'm going to catch this 10 feet behind the 3-point line.
And even because Giannis will sometimes drive and kick out these like awful passes from these weird angles, he'll just catch it from anywhere and just put it up and just hit it. It's insane to watch.
It's funny to watch.
It's great. It's good for him because, and it's good for the Bucks too, and it's good for Thon Maker. So hopefully they finish the season.
There was an interesting article in the Hoopla this week on Thon and how he kind of doesn't fit into...
Yeah, pick and roll, I think it was.
Yeah, it was on the pick and roll, sorry. It doesn't fit into
Shout out
the whole...
pick and roll.
Yes,
good blokes.
Please do. How he doesn't really fit in the Bucks team. I counteract that to say that he doesn't fit into the regular season Bucks team.
Nah.
But we were talking about this the other day, is that he fits into postseason Bucks. When the play's a lot slower, it's a lot grittier, and you got that guy who's just hunting blocks.
Yep.
Because people aren't going to be putting up 36, 40, 3 points a game. They're going to be going for that high risk, a high reward, low risk play, getting into the paint. And that's when you're going to want a guy like Thon potentially at the 4, who can stretch the floor on the offense, but also can pile the center with on the defense with Giannis.
It's just whether or not Coach Bud's going to do that. Like I can't see this.
I don't think his style. If it goes cold for 2 games, it's postseason over.
Yeah,
you need
that's
a backup.
What I mean.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're going to do. Like it still feels very flying by the seat of the pants. It's not necessarily gimmicky, but it's just very. If we go cold, like that's it. And sometimes they're able to pull it out of the fire if they go cold, but sometimes they're not. So to me, you'd prefer to play a more try and get better shots type of offense.
Yeah.
But who knows, man? They might just try and ride that all the way. And if they do, then that's fine. If they don't, I'd like to see, Thon Maker obviously has an undersized body for the type of player he needs to be in this team.
Yeah.
But not necessarily in the NBA. Because he's not going to get post touches. He's not going to get the chance. Like he hit a nice fade in one of the later games. But that's a catch, turn, and fade. Like he doesn't get a chance to back guys down because that's not the way they play.
No,
he's not the worst at doing that. I think he could expand his game if he got a little bit bigger. But then obviously he's sacrificing his ability to play at the 3 and guard in the perimeter, which probably helps this team in general anyway.
Yeah,
if you know what I mean. So who knows, man? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens at the end of this season, especially with what Coach Bud goes with. But I like Thon as a player. If he's patient and doesn't get itchy feet and think, I need to be playing more. If he can fit in this team, I think.
Yeah. Look, again, I think postseason they'll have to change up what they do a little bit more.
Yeah, but who knows if they will? I don't know if they're going to.
Well, again, you come up against a guy you come up against a smart defender in Horford, who the Celtics are really well known for their perimeter defense, so they shut down that option. But on their offense, they play quite well in the paint, can stretch the floor well. Sorry. And so what do you do when the perimeter defense locks down your 3-point attempt and Giannis is getting closed down by Baines, who is a big body and did that to Embiid last year, even though Embiid is it. He's just a big body in the way.
Yeah.
I mean, Giannis has dunked on him a few times, but he's still... How do you counteract that? Well, that's where Thon comes in. Potentially is that stretch 4, not 5. You still keep Brook Lopez at 5. That can, block on the weak side if he needs to. But that's postseason. I mean, we are almost at the All-Star break, and we shall be seeing that very soon.
Yep.
We can move on. I like how you've written, don't think people want to hear me wank over the Dubs.
Yeah, they played pretty well. Steph Curry played really well in this game.
It's the Dubs. Next Friday is Dubs Philly, which I think will be a really good test for the Dubs.
Yeah.
Because I don't think...
Boogie back. This was before Boogie came back. Cousins. I think they're starting to hit their strides a little bit, and there's something a little bit more to play for with Boogie there now. Draymond looks like he's getting a little bit better. He's stopped hooking. Clay's found it again.
And then lost it.
That's kind of... He'll always shoot, which is good to have in a guy. And their bench is even, with McKinney, he's been playing pretty well. And but nobody wants to hear me talk shit about the Dubs. So we can say no broke off, no party.
And
a loss. So no broke off, no party.
The
Let's
Mavs,
move on.
no
with
good.
Cleveland, LA. Cleveland got their first win in 18 games or something like that.
Good on them. Good on them. The Clippers.
It was Lakers.
Was it Lakers?
Yeah, I think it was Lakers.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
The Lakers.
Oh, yeah.
which is weird, but that's good on him.
But that's how trash the Lakers are, really.
It's a one-time thing. It came down to a little bit of back and forth towards the end, and then the Cavs came through.
We don't really know how long LeBron's going to be injured for. That was meant to be.
I don't know if he was playing. I don't think he was playing in this game.
No, he's not. He's not playing in any games.
No,
he's
I
out.
think before he got injured, before we started doing.
He got injured last year.
Yeah, last year.
He's been out for 4 weeks, hasn't he?
LeBron.
Yeah.
Last year. Oh yeah, you're right. Just totally forgot. It was 2019.
Yeah.
I was thinking last season, but yeah, because I remember seeing that. Did I tell you? I texted you, and he's standing there going, "I heard a pop." I heard a pop, and I'm thinking, "Ooh, that's not a good sign, man." If you're hearing a pop. And that's a bad injury for him. He hasn't had many injuries at all.
He hasn't had any injuries in his career. He's been probably the most non-injured player in NBA history for the style he plays as well.
Yeah,
he's such a bully. He's bully ball.
Crazy freak athlete, man.
Freak athlete. That's, I suppose, what you get when you spend $1 million on your body every year.
Yeah, it's insane, except you can't fix his hairline.
No, not that PRP in the head.
Not that me wearing a hat will ever...
Yeah, but you're not spending $1 million on your body. Chetty Osman had 20 points.
Yeah.
Sexton 17. Delhi had 3 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. What a turd of a game. Kuzma 29 points. He's probably the shining star for the Lakers, thinks. Ingram had 22 and Ball had 13. 8 rebounds, Ingram. 8 assists. Yeah, I like Ingram.
I like Ball. It's just his shot is so ugly, man. And it's almost weird to look at, to think that you're looking at a player who can shoot. He can shoot the ball. Or has shown that he can shoot the ball in college, but you just watch his shot and you just go, I can't look at that and go, that's going in. That's a nice shot. It's going to go in. He had a couple of chances to hit threes, I think, at the end of this game, but one he didn't shoot, and the other one he did shoot, and I think he made, and the other he gave up. But Kuzma, Ingram doesn't really work, and Hart, it's kind of just they're almost their players, and it's almost like Ingram players. Needs his own team, sort of thing. Ingram needs, clear everyone and let's rebuild the team around Ingram, but he's still not good enough for that to happen.
No.
Especially with LeBron there being injured. But yeah, that's enough shitting on the Lakers.
Shitting on the Lakers. Shall we move on?
Let's move on to shitting on Boston, who lost to the Nets.
Look, the Nets are playing extremely well.
Yeah, man.
I saw it.
No fear.
Kind
of like Sacramento in the West.
Yeah.
Just no fear at all.
But actually, we'll get rewarded for that, whereas the Kings won't because it's too stacked.
Yeah.
Whereas Brooklyn will actually get to the playoffs, I think. And I think they'll probably sneak into 5th or 6th with the way they're playing. Still no Baines in this game.
Nah.
But D'Angelo is on fire. 34 points. Spencer Dinwiddie is playing well. Jarrett Allen.
It was not long ago where we were listening to that, talking about him blowing his ankle almost.
Yeah.
And how lucky, the finest of margins, that he got injured and he was only out for a couple of weeks, I think, or 3 weeks or 4 weeks or something like that. That could have been a season ender. It was a bad. You watched that. That was one I actually saw, and I went, "Oh no, season! That was awful." So, just shows you those fine margins for injuries. I guess we can move on. No Baines, no party in that game.
Yeah.
Charlotte at the Spurs, and the Spurs got beat by Charlotte, like we were saying in their review. Shout out to our review. Go and find it if you look back. They just seem to have these games where it's you couldn't even get over 100. What the hell happened? What's going on here?
They can be on and then they can be very, very off.
Yeah, it's weird.
And it's just bizarre. It's inconsistent, and it will inconsistently kick them out of the first round of the playoffs. I think they're good enough to get there. I think they're well coached enough to get there. This was the homecoming for Parker.
Yeah. So emotional, I guess, and he played quite well.
Yeah, he's been playing well for 16 minutes. I don't know why they play him longer. Don't play him longer. They have Batum, who is the worst player on the worst contract in the world. Again, I have to shout out mid pod shout out. Remember to like us on Facebook, subscribe, do all those good things. We love you, peoples.
Yes, thanks for watching too.
Thanks for watching. Great. Paddy had a great game. He's doing very well. 14 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist.
Yeah, some good volume in this game. He had 4 of 14, 6 of 16. Sorry, 2 of 6 from 3. But a -14. Kemba's always going to be a tough cover.
Tough matchup. He's a crafty old character. The Kemba Walker.
Yeah, and then obviously Batum playing shooting guard. That's kind of it's a little bit of stretch. A bit too much athleticism for him to really handle, and Bryn Forbes is kind of undersized as well, and Derek White is not not the defensive player he
is quite still young.
Next to
Still
Paddy.
young.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Next to Paddy, you probably want your other guy to have some real defensive lockdown.
Some
ability.
lockdown. You want like a Jimmy Butler, Robert Covington style player at the 2 guard, or the small forward, just to cover the 1 and 2 with some length. Okay, we'll move on to the Jazz beating Detroit.
Yeah,
All we can say is fuck Blake Griffin. Thank you for the Jazz. 29 minutes for Jingle and Joe, 13
yeah,
points.
he played well. Knocked
4
down
rebounds,
that
8
3.
assists.
Did you see that at the end?
And then gave everyone a kiss.
Yeah, gave some of that. Yeah, it was good.
Gave some.
It was someone in the crowd was heckling them all night or something. That was what I read.
They live in Detroit. You can't heckle anyone. Your city's a shithole. Kyle Korver, mate, what? He's just kind of come out of the woodwork and decided that, yes, I like playing NBA basketball again and shooting 15 points regularly.
Yeah, it's good.
It is good. It's weird for a 37-year-old to be doing that. It's kind of like the oversized version of JJ Redick.
Well, he's always been one of the league's best shooters. Like he's
I think
going to
top
go down.
4.
Yeah,
I think
3
it's
or
4.
4. I think Curry and him are sort of bouncing around at the moment.
Yeah.
So coming into that team, he gets the perfect opportunities just to shoot, and his defense in Cleveland was something that was easily exploitable in Cleveland because they don't have great team scheme defense.
Well, you couldn't funnel people into a spider monkey. Someone who's 6-7 foot and arms are longer than he is tall.
But I think in general, the Jazz have a much better defensive framework in order for him to operate. So it's not like he has to come to this team and be like, oh, I've got to guard guys. Like, this is going to be hard. He's coming into that team going, no. We got the defensive framework here for you to just shoot threes. You just let it fly. No worries. Grayson Allen's been playing as well. He's come up from the G League and he's been playing. He's knocking down some shots, playing some defense, which is good. They didn't have Exum in this. I think Rubio played in this game, but no, I don't think he did. The Pistons are just it's hard to watch, man.
It's just the Blake down special and Andre Drummond grabbing boards. It's such a bad team.
And Reggie Bullock shooting the odd 3 here and there.
Yeah.
But Blake Griffin shooting 11 threes, man. It's like you're fighting a losing battle. And Utah played pretty well. I thought they played all right. Donovan Mitchell again getting his chance to shine. Yeah, so I'm reading the box score here. So no Rubio. And then Grayson Allen got 20 minutes, which is good to see. He hit 2 of 5, 8 points. Kyle Korver again. So the Jazz, just a nice win for them, and they're continuing on their way, surging above 500.
Which is good to see. We all predicted... We want them to be at the finals.
Yeah, for sure.
We want them to be there.
They're a likable team. I feel like they're a likable team.
They are a likable team. They're not... There's no real egos on the team. There's a couple of funny guys. They play the right way. They play some good basketball. And we don't seem to hate anyone on their team. Next one was the Philly Timberwolves game. A bit of a homecoming for Saric and for Rocco. Good to see the fans get up on their feet for those two. They are sorely missed. But
was that in Minnesota? That game?
No, it was in Philly.
No, it was in Philly, yeah.
And it was an absolute drubbing.
Yeah, they smashed them. 149-107.
Simmons was 20 points, 7 of 10, 6 of 7 from the line, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks, plus 24. Bolden had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 blocks.
Yeah, we should talk about Bolden. He played really well in this game. 5 of 6 from the
Bolden
field. 4
has
of 5 from
been
3.
Playing extremely well, I think. I think for a guy who's just come out of the Israeli league, who was a very disappointing player in the summer league, did not get to his potential. It seems to be doing very well, and he seems to be able. They're using him at the 5 spot, which is weird, but he seems to be able to spread the floor well when Embiid's on the floor and not getting his way.
Yeah,
which is great to see. Yeah, he's a smart player.
Smart player, I think.
It's great for Aussie basketball as well.
Yeah, well, you look at some of the competition in the 4s and the 5 spots. Like, we really don't have those traditional centers. Like, Bogut's pretty much the last of our crop of traditional 7-footers that can block shots. So if Bolden can play, what is he? I think he's 6'11". He's not
6'11", but his wingspan's 7'4".
The same as Giannis.
Yeah, 7'3" or something. It's insane.
So that would be interesting for the Australian team, fitting him in at the 5 spot, but doing something different as opposed to being like your Bogut style shot blocker or your Bain style Chubb guy to body guys off the board. So, and he can shoot the 3 ball, which is great. He can stretch the floor, and he works well for Philly too. He can screen well, I've noticed as well. And he's a high IQ guy. He's obviously a guy that knows how to fit into their system he'll have nights where he doesn't shoot the ball well and he'll score no points but grab 9 boards, and it feels like he's fitting in really well. As an outsider looking in, obviously you watch him every game, but as an outsider, it's good to see him sort of fitting in. Embiid, 31 points, 13 rebounds. It was just a smashing, really. A
drubbing. And we'll move on to the smashing of the Heat by the Bucks.
Yeah.
Donatron getting some trash time in this. 2 points, 3 rebounds to assist, 1 steal. Antetokounmpo had his 4th triple-double of the season. And really, the Miami Heat just have no...
They've got no answer, really.
No answer.
If Whiteside is not dominating, which, he's a trier, but rarely he dominates guys. Like, the easiest one to go to, obviously, is the Embiid-Whiteside matchup, where Embiid just has way more tools, way more ability to get to the rim. He can pump fake and get to the basket. Whiteside doesn't have all of that in his game, and he doesn't have the mental aspect to really lift him out of that. Yeah. I mean, he's improved heaps this season, a lot.
And I think he's worked really hard in the offseason to get that improvement to a place where it is helping Miami a little bit, as opposed to last year, it was hindering Miami.
And he's kind of there in the shot blocker as well. He's there in the shot blocker, so it's like, it's going to be hard, man. One man army against the Bucks with Giannis, and then Brook Lopez stretching you out and shooting threes from everywhere. That's always hard as well.
Very.
But yeah, good win for the Bucks. After that dodgy loss, they're 8-2, so they're on a 5-win streak as well. So after that loss, they've won all 5. Should we move to Toronto-Boston?
Yes, Baines, the return of Baines.
Bainesy back in style too. I thought he played really well in this game.
He did. He's having a good season, old Baines, when he's not injured.
Donning that weird glove thing that he had on, and a white arm sleeve thing.
Yeah.
Kind of looked like a stormtrooper, I thought. Because he had like a high barn in his head, kind of looks like the helmet. But yeah, he played really well. 9 points, 4 of 5 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, +7 on the night. I think he hit a 3 sort of late. That 3 hit was late. Really arrested momentum because Toronto led for a fair bit of this game.
It was good to see the Celtics get the win over a Kawhi-led Toronto.
Yeah.
Because Kawhi played very well. But yeah, they needed to get this win. I think there's been some chinks in the Toronto armor of late. I think that it's going to be very hard on some back-to-backs for obviously Kawhi still not playing back-to-backs. You get some easy wins there. I mean, they're just cruising to the finals. It's really now, it's cruising to the postseason, getting your positions, securing your top 4 spots so you get through to the second round, or getting the top 2 so you get guaranteed conference semi-final. So really, it's just cruising. They're not going to go too hard. I don't think too many people are going to play too hard. Funnily enough, Philly has a really, really strong run home. They've played all their Muppet teams early on, and now they've got quite a difficult trek ahead of them home, but seem to be doing quite well as of late. Kawhi had 33, Ibaka had 22, 10 rebounds, and Toronto led 104-100 after Lennon's 3-point with 4 minutes to go. And then Boston just hammered them with 17 of the next 19 points.
Yeah. It was good. It's good to watch Uncle Drew, a little bit of Uncle Drew there at the end too.
Indeed. And next game, we've got Bucks in Memphis. And 9 minutes for Thon, where he got 4 rebounds and yanked at -19.
Yeah. No, I think that was all garbage time, actually.
Was it?
It's hard against the Grizzlies, obviously, with Gasol. And then Jaren Jackson playing there. They've got a decent team, but they just died, and then
they started off the season well, but I think everyone worked out what they needed to do.
Lost 7 in a row. They're 1 of 9 in their last 10. The Grizzlies, and I think Conley and Gasol had a little bit of health trouble as well in there. But yeah, they're 3 or 4 years away from rebuilding. I think they're going to have to jettison.
They're going to have to jettison.
Gasol,
yeah.
Really.
There's really nothing
from scratch, because I think Gasol's 34 or 35.
33.
Yeah.
They're just going to have to rebuild around Jaren Jackson Jr., I think. Rebuild the team in that respect and get on to some picks to start the tanking process.
But it's good to see, Memphis play great defense. That's one thing you look at Memphis and go, yeah, they're known for their defense. So holding the Bucks to 111 was pretty good, pretty impressive for them.
Very, very.
But yeah, watching Antetokounmpo just ghost Gasol and just get to the rim, and you're just like, geez, how do you stop this man? Like, if you don't have the right tools in your team,
you need like a 6'10", 7-foot chub guy.
Yeah, someone like Baines or something like that. But still, it's crazy.
Hard. We'll go on to the Spurs and Dallas. Good win for the Spurs. Paddy had 14 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a plus 16 on the night.
Yeah, he played really well.
Very good. He's been really picking up his game of late. Contributed to the Spurs. Bertans and DeRozan scored 17 of Spurs 30 points in the fourth quarter. Bertans, one of the leading 3-point percentage shooters in the league. I think he's second,
48 or 49%.
Something crazy. Not super high volume, but again,
it doesn't need to be because Spurs are always looking for a better shot from a
they're
good shot.
not going to take random shots like Brook Lopez from the paint or the paint at halfway half the time anyway. Doncic led Dallas with 25 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, and he became the first rookie since Steph Curry to score 25 points or more in 5 straight games. He is crazy.
Crazy to watch. He's fantastic. Bertans is leading 3-point field goal percentage with 48.6%.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Because Forbes was up there in the 40s.
They've got a few up there. I mean, they're the leading 3-point team.
But yeah, Doncic, he's just got every trick, and I think he's gonna grow to be a fantastic player.
I think there's an MVP year in there somewhere.
I think projecting his career, there's got to be something like that in there.
I think there's an MVP in Simmons' career somewhere as well,
barring injury or anything like that. I think.
Yeah, the greatest. LeBron's starting to go. Harden's a gimmick. Yeah, he could score 50 a night, but 30 are from the line. Like, it's gimmicky.
Like, he gets them, I guess. So.
Yeah, it's boring to watch.
Yeah, I don't particularly like it, but you can't doubt the phenomenal level that Harden's playing at. And
no, but again, I think there has to be some context to the way he's playing. If you're playing like that and your team's not in the top 8, which he is, you're not the MVP. You're just the best player in that team.
Yeah.
Like, you could give the ball to LeBron in the same way. But LeBron's a team man. He just doesn't want to get him scoring. He wants other people scoring because he knows that's going to win games. Or it's just like, all right, everyone get out of Harden's way. He's just going to shoot.
Yeah. And even, like, it kind of feels like they're starting to build their roster around that. And if that's what they want to do, that's how they're going to do it. And he gets to the line a lot and he shoots well. Like, I mean, what is he, 27, 28, 89?
Yeah.
89, so he's 28, 29. He's probably got 4 or 5 more years, which leaves a nice little window tying it back to Doncic and Simmons. And Embiid's only like 24, 25, isn't
24.
He? So I think he's got an MVP somewhere in there as well.
Leads the league in double-doubles. It's just a shame that you've got Giannis in the same league as well.
Oh, and he's only 23 as well. Jeez, yeah. So this is, which is good. It bodes well for the league in general, which is going to be great. But an Aussie MVP would be fantastic. Simmons could make it. Should we move to Cleveland and Portland? Should we kind of breeze past that one? We
should breeze past that one, but Delhi had some good minutes in there. 8 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, some good dish Delhi time.
Yeah.
But,
they've got nothing really for these. Cleveland don't have enough for these all-round teams who play a comprehensive style of basketball. They're pretty much always going to lose. Nurkic, I think, had a triple-double or double-double or something like that. Triple-double. And they just don't have, like, Zizic.
Nurkic, first player, I don't know if it was this game, it was 5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks. First player to ever do that.
Crazy. But it's against the Cavs where you're like,
I don't know if it was this game. I don't know if it was
maybe it wasn't this game.
I don't think it was this game. But just, let everyone know.
And then Clarkson had 22 points. It's just nothing there. Like, there really isn't anything there beyond how they're coached, how they're set up, what they're doing. There really isn't. To beat these top West teams, I don't think it's going to have to take something pretty special.
Indeed.
Utah and the Clips.
Yep, good win for Utah.
Yeah, it was good.
Utah Jazz.
Joe Ingles, 30 minutes, 6 points, 3 of 8 from the field, but 8 assists and 2 steals. Defensively was good. Mitchell, again, 28 points. He's a player of the week, averaging 30.3 points in their last 6 games, and Jazz are 8-2 in their last 10.
Gobert had a good game as well, 23 points, 22 rebounds, 37
He's
doubled.
Looked way better, man.
He has. Since we kind of ragged on him, and I think when he slapped that cup and got ejected, he was like, right. It's time to change.
I just wonder if their team is starting to understand that they have to use him in a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it felt like a continuation from last year of we just keep doing the same thing. Give him lobs, give him oops, let him sit at the dunker spot. But teams in general, like the other teams have now cottoned on to, we can move around that. We're playing better. We can move him around. Bring him to the perimeter kind of struggle.
Yeah.
He's looking a lot better at that too. So, and maybe health, maybe his fitness wise, he's feeling a little better in general because he's they're into the season. Jay Crowder's been playing pretty well for the Jazz as well. He had 23 points. The Clippers kind of just fallen in a hole as well, really.
Yeah.
They're still sitting 8th, 4-6 in their last 10. The hustle's kind of dried up. Lou Will finished with 23 points. Tobias Harris had 17 points and Bradley 15. So it's good to see the Utah Jazz win another game. Move on to Philly and Indiana, and this was a good win for Philly.
This was a great win for Philly. It was a great game as well. They just hammered them. Simmons, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. Bolden, 6 points, 6 rebounds. Joel Embiid had a great night, but this was just a Jimmy Butler fest. 27 points, 8 assists, and Philadelphia shot 53% and finished with 38 assists.
Yeah. Was this
crazy?
Was Brewer on board for this game yet?
No.
No.
This was just a hard fought win. JJ Redick had 5 assists. McConnell had 5 assists. No, JJ Redick, I can't shout praise enough for this dude. Such a good vet. Awesome. He's so good to watch. He's a freak. He's that freakish player that can just shoot from anywhere. I mean, Bellinelli's the same, but I think Bellinelli is a bit up and down, whereas JJ just gets going and it's all over. Yeah,
if he's, and it's hard to stop too. That's the other thing is such a good mover off the ball. Without the ball in his hand, he moves well, and that's always dangerous.
Yeah, he just keeps moving. He doesn't stop, and people eventually start ball watching, and then it's all over. I do have to say, though, the first 3 quarters of this game were absolute trash. It's the worst shooting game. I think they were both below 40. It was just bad shooting from both teams, but Philly seemed to win out on the trash night and run away with it. Let's move on to Memphis and Boston. Good win for the Celtics. Bainesy's back.
Yeah, Bainesy's back. 12 rebounds in this game, 3 blocks. 3 of them late too. They were good blocks. Kyrie again, Uncle Drew a little bit late to sort of seal the win. The Grizzlies played pretty well in this game. Conley was getting free. Smart had 20 points. Horford had 18. And then Kyrie had 38 points, 11 assists. He kind of willed them late. Because I'm pretty sure Memphis led in this game quite late. Or it was close. Very close. It was 96-91. And then, they ended up pushing it with some nice Uncle Drew stuff.
Uncle Drew stars. It's a good win for Boston. And they keep climbing up towards the Philadelphia. Next game,
charge on.
San Antonio at Minnesota. Good win for the Spurs. Patty had 3 points, 8 assists, plus 9. And LaMarcus having a little bit of a feasting. Rudy Gay's been quite outstanding this year for a good veteran. And Pop earned his 520th road win, which was tying Pat Riley. And I think the next game he takes it out.
That's a lot of wins. So obviously LaMarcus versus Towns, that's somewhere that he can exploit. A guy like Towns, who's not known for his defense.
Well, he fouled out after 21 minutes.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
23 points and fouled out on 21. Jeez, wow. And D Rose, 23 points. Taj Gibson, 14 points, 11 rebounds. But that's kind of Towns, man. Towns in a nutshell. If he had the defensive attention to detail, he'd be like an unstoppable player. He'd be another one like a LaMarcus Aldridge type player. Yeah. And the worst kind of guy to go up against is Aldridge in this kind of vein of form. Shall we move even further on? Cleveland at Utah. New Aussie on Aussie crime with Delhi playing against Joe Ingles.
Jinglin Joe. Delhi had a good night. 10 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists plus 2. And Jinglin had 9 points, 8 assists.
Yep.
But again, never in question. Cleveland just not as good as the Jazz on defense and therefore taking out in a pretty bad shooting game. It wasn't very good. Cleveland shot 21 of 68, which is crap in the first 3 quarters. And Mitchell playing in the point guard role, 24 points, 9 of 15. Gobert had a bit of a feast night. He's always going to feast on Tristan Thompson.
Yep.
And it was an all-round good performance for Utah. And we'll go to OKC and Philly, and this was a very good game. Some high drama down the straight. Simmons had 20 points, 15 rebounds, 9 assists, but 6 turnovers.
Yep.
And Bolden had a little bit of a defensive shocker, 3 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. George hit converted the 4-point play with 5 seconds left after the Jimmy Butler steal on Westbrook.
Yeah, that was good. Dojo Jimmy. Did you have the headband on?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dojo Jimmy. I like that one. I thought that was it. I thought that was nice. They've taken this one. And then,
if I was me, I would have held that game up. I would have, if I was Jimmy Butler, I wouldn't have gone in for the shot. You know, when you got a guy like PG-13 taking the last shot of the game, you know, I would have waited for Simmons or Embiid to trounce down the lane and laid it off and taken a few more seconds away.
Yeah, it's weird because in a couple of these games, OKC have gone to Westbrook for the last shot.
Yeah, which they shouldn't at all. It's just
no. Well, that's great. Like, you know, yeah, sure. Let him take the last shot. I want that. But then in this game, it had to be Paul George taking the last shot, and you're just like, fuck's sakes. Especially when we wanted Philly to win, type of thing. But yeah, and Westbrook fouled out with 14 seconds remaining. He got Embiid shooting 3-point. That was the game where Embiid kind of landed on him, and there was a little bit of afters and stuff. Got anything to say about that?
I do. Westbrook had actually lost the ball and was diving for the ball when Embiid went up for the block, and then he just took Embiid out underneath and then got up. Embiid was like, you know, sorry, dude. He put his hand out. He said, hey, man, I'm sorry, you know. And then Westbrook fired up because Westbrook's a tool.
Yeah. That's Westbrook being Westbrookian. But yeah, Paul George, man, he's having a fantastic season. He's just been lights out. Yeah. That's someone we didn't even mention when we were talking about OKC before. Like, you know, we were talking about Ferguson and Jeremy Grant.
I thought it was just understood that you're going to get 40 points out of this guy a night.
And he's just having like a career year and, you know, laughed at basically for re-signing with OKC. By us, I must admit.
Yeah, like who'd want to play with Westbrook? But apparently the chemistry's there.
Fantastic.
He gets fed.
He's loving it. It's good to see him playing well. Hopefully they can meet the Jazz in the first round of the playoffs again. That'd be a good.
That'd be great seeing this OKC bounce out to Exum's fantastic guarding and Joe Ingles' chippiness on Paul George.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Paul George part 2.
I mean, one has to be said. Butler did not. He missed the final shot.
Didn't he brick 2 3 throws?
Brick 2 3 throws, missed the final shot, and had a terrible shooting night all round, but made up with it with stealing the ball.
Yeah, that mad steal, which we thought that was
the game over.
Yeah, game, and then Paul George.
I would have held it up. But anyway, let's move on. And Dallas
at Indy. No, Brokoff got some garbage time, missed 2 threes, and got an assist. Sucks, man, because he's getting those shots. But he's not knocking them down.
Yeah, but it's just like, hey, you after 10 games come out and shoot. You're like, it's not. You're not really match ready.
But still, you know, I want to see him hitting those shots. That's kind of what he was signed to do. But
Doncic had a shocker this game.
Yeah, didn't he get ejected for kicking the ball out? Was it this game? Yeah, he kicked the ball into the stands and got ejected. Some of these things, man, are just.
That's a 19-year-old having a bit of a tantrum.
Yeah, why not? And he copped it. He just went, well, that was stupid. I got to work on my football skills. Then I was trying to juggle the ball, and it's like,
that's it, yeah.
Trying to juggle the ball 32 rows back. Like, that's a heavy first touch, mate. Jeez. But yeah, Barnes 20 points. DeAndre had 15 points, 16 rebounds. I think Indiana were playing some really good basketball, and they're probably going to beat a Dallas team at home, or Indy at home are going to beat a Dallas team that's not very good on the road and kind of struggling a little bit. We'll move on to Milwaukee at Orlando.
No Thonotron.
And should we be worried?
Not really. He'll shine. He'll be the Andre Iguodala of the Bucks. He'll be that playoff guy that they'll go to down the stretch of games to give them the boost. He's won the game. He won the game against Utah for them, so he's definitely should be in the conversation. And we'll move on to the next game, which is Boston at Atlanta, and a big win for Boston. Bainesy had 6 points, 3 rebounds, 1 block. Uncle Drew went 32 on Atlanta.
Yep. Just men versus boys again.
This was a back-to-back, so this was a nice win for the Celtics.
Yeah. So did we read Bainesy? 16 minutes, 6 points, 3 of 4.
We did.
Field, he got another block, which was good to see him on his injured hand as well, which was good to see. No residual effects from that broken hand and surgery. Didn't he have surgery?
Yeah, he did have surgery. Yeah,
before Christmas. It's always a worry if you're having surgery and having to come back from surgery. But yeah, men versus boys type of stuff. You'd always expect Boston to beat Atlanta. And then Finally got
Adele.
to Deng Adele. Shout out. Give me one of these ones because we were the first people who said this guy's probably going to be the first one to make it into the NBA from our three, which was Mitch Creek and Isaac Humphries and Deng Adele playing in the G League.
Yeah.
Like, we were the first ones at the start of the season to play. He's going to play in the NBA, man. He's going to be the one that's going to make that step up. And finally, he got that guaranteed deal, or two-way, sorry, for
45-day two-way contract.
For the Cavs.
Only getting some trash minutes at this stage, but I think his time will come. Hit that 3-ball, 2 rebounds. Delhi had 8 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. But again, Denver are just going to walk all over.
Oh, of course. Yeah, for sure. Denver, obviously, they're playing really well. Jokic is playing really well. Trey Lyles has been playing great. And Monte Morris. Trey Lyles had 16. Morris had 15. Delhi 8 points in 15 minutes, 2 rebounds and 1 assist. He's obviously continuing on. He's in quite good form despite not being able to put up the numbers. J.R. Smith remains away from the team due to personal reasons, and Tristan Thompson
due to him being a sook.
Just being a tool in general.
Just being a JR tool.
So should we move on? It was great. No, it was great to see Deng Adele finally get some minutes. We've got some more games we'll go through after we finish this one, which obviously he's played some more minutes since then. Last
game for this.
And yes, finally we make it all the way to the end. The Clippers at the Spurs, and the Spurs lost again. Again, another one of these games which is even 95 points. Like, what? Couldn't even put up 100. What's going on, Spurs?
Who knows? DeRozan has a bad night. Everyone has a bad night. But look, the Clips are coming down back to earth, I think. You know, sitting 7-8.
They've always got hustle on their side too. And a Spurs team, like maybe a Warriors team, might get out hustled in a game and just lose because they got hustled. Patty Mills, 19 minutes, 6 points, 2 of 5 from the field. Another block. His numbers are climbing. He blocked Avery Bradley's 20-foot jumper. So what I think he was, what was he?
9 blocks. This is the 10th.
8 blocks, and I think he had 11 last season in the entire season. So he's flying, mate. It's great to see him getting more blocks. Beverly had 18 points, 12 rebounds. He's probably another one that's going to struggle against a hustle guy like Beverly.
Yeah.
LaMarcus Aldridge, 30 points, 14 rebounds. The Spurs pulled within 101.95 with 30 seconds remaining. But they just couldn't make
keep it up.
Didn't shoot the 3-ball all that well. And that's it. I think we'll leave it there because that was an absolute marathon. I'm sweltering in here. You can probably see the sweat glistening. We are live.
Shout out. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Like us on Facebook.
Yes.
Just as we are talking, the All-Stars are in.
Yes.
So, for the East,
about that.
The Greek Freak is captain, followed by Embiid at the 5, Kawhi at the 4, Kawhi at the 3, sorry. Kemba Walker at the 2 and Kyrie at the 1. And for the West, La Injured is captain. Kevin Durant, I imagine, be playing power forward. Paul George at the 3 and Harden at the 2 and Steph Curry at the 1. So no Ben Simmons as a guaranteed. I don't know why Kemba Walker was brought in because Dwayne Wade had more votes than him. So this was the top 2 were meant to get the vote. So I don't know how it works.
I haven't been paying attention.
Anyway, it's a hit and giggle game. Anyway, it's a good time to have.
But I still want this contract stuff. There's contract.
Yeah, well, Giannis is now guaranteed the max, isn't he?
Yeah, because
he's going to win MVP
or Defensive Player of the Year or something, All NBA or some crazy thing that as Aussies and as followers of the NBA, we probably should look up before we talk about it. But hey,
probably. Who cares?
Fans. It's good to see Simmons at least. I think he'll get picked.
Yeah, he'll get picked. Now with Oladipo gone, he can't not get picked. You could pick him as a power forward if you really wanted to as well. All right, guys.
All right, yes. Thanks for watching, everyone that watched.
We'll be back Monday.
Yeah, we'll be back Monday.
Monday,
so
more
we'll
games.
see you then. Enjoy your Australia Day if you're from Australia.
Australia.
Mate. Yeah, it's good to see you.
Australia.
All right, take it easy, peeps.
See ya.